This is Soup UIM, and this will be episode 0 of my Ultimate Ironman account progress series. This is my Ultimate Ironman. It's about 3 years old. It's got about 3,000 hours on it, and it's almost 2,000 total level. And we'll get into all the level breakdowns in just a minute. I wanted to start a series with this account from the very beginning, but I never really got around to it. I had lots of footage, but none of it was voiced over, and it was a lot of 6-hour videos of me just running agility, and I never got around to cutting it up and editing it, and I wasn't really seriously considering how to go about it. I started playing this game mode 3 years ago. At the time, my main was getting a little stale. I have a max main that has a lot of hours on it that I've played pretty much since OSRS came out. The game mode really interests me just from watching a lot of creators. I just want to give a shout out to some great Ultimate Ironman creators that I've watched and really made me want to play this game mode that some people look at and say it's insane, which is one of the reasons why I watched these guys in the first place. But UIM Link is one of the OGs, one of the first players to max. I was actually going through his videos from 8 years ago, watching it. It's very interesting just how he plays and how much different the game mode is and how much different the game was 8 years ago. Mudkip is another great creator. Verf has an extreme chunk locked right now, but he used to make pretty much solely Ultimate Ironman account. He was a lot of fun to watch. And then probably my two favorites, UIM Loki, who I was watching very often when I made this account, and Devious. I've watched Devious for a long time and really enjoy the style of his videos and the crazy amount of progress he's made. So I want to go through this account. This is a classic episode 0 where, hey, I didn't record from the get-go, and I want to catch you up before we start doing regular progress. So this account has various achievement diaries on pretty much every diary you can do that doesn't involve a really annoying grind, with a few exceptions, like knocking out some elites, specifically Lumbers and Drainer is the most important. I no longer have a quest cape on this account because they add a new quest every 3 weeks, and I'm not too concerned with the quest cape. I was more concerned with the elite diary that lets me grab fairy rings without a Draymond staff. It's a huge deal on Ultimate Ironman. I'll try to highlight throughout the series certain things that are a really big deal on Ultimate Ironman or UIM, and we'll kind of go through and talk about why. Some notables about the quest cape is I did it sub 100 combat, and I actually got 100 combat on the last quest when I did Desert Treasure 2. The prayer XP from that quest gave me 100 combat. I have it in the screenshot. I'll probably post a screenshot over this voiceover here and there of certain levels that I got. I was going through the screenshots just a minute ago trying to remember exactly what I was doing in what order because it's been such a long time playing this account, and the nature of the account has made me take various month-long breaks, and just the nature of the game probably for many of you. So let's go over some of the stats. My combats are pretty mid-game. I have not spent a lot of time on combats. If you look at Slayer, it's 71, and the reason for this is I am pretty focused on macro efficiency in this game, and there's a lot you need to do to make Slayer macro efficient. The big one being 95 rune crafting for Wrath runes, so that I can train prayer with the Arceus spellbook pretty much 1-to-1 while I do Slayer. So that is the reason why I have not really gotten around to combats, and that's also the reason why I'm starting to make videos now, because I think this account is about to get a whole lot more interesting, hopefully. I started the account pretty much just rushing agility. It's probably not that surprising. I'm a little bit of a masochist in this game based on just the account I'm playing, and I actually enjoy agility. And the goal was to get 93 agility pretty much off the bat for a new shortcut, the Meyerditch Lab shortcut, so I could make blood runes really quickly. So I started grinding out agility. I did it to about 72 before I realized I needed to go to the Wilderness Altar to get my prayer up while I was still level 3. So that was annoying. I had a suicide pile, a death pile, my Amulace my Marks of Grace that I had collected for agility. And then after I did that, I went all the way to 91 agility. Did all the rooftops basically. Rooftops all the way to 90, 91. And then the last 2 levels I decided to head over to the agility pyramid to grab a few mil GP. Another reason I did this right at the beginning, again, macro efficiency. Agility greatly impacts your run energy. So then after that, I was pretty much off to the races. Looking through my screenshots, it was a classic, ultimate, or not ultimate, but just a classic Ironman starting path. Knocking out quests like Fight Arena, Vampire Slayer, doing magic along the way. It was really hard to remember the exact route when I was looking at screenshots because it's just levels all over the place. RuneLite screenshots, every level. So then it was mostly just questing and grinding out quest requirements. I have screenshots of doing smithing iron ore with superheat to train magic, and then turning into dark tips, really just getting levels where I could so I could knock out a few quest requirements. After I had a little bit of a base going, right, I'm running around, I'm doing things pretty much, base 20s, base 30s, getting up levels for different quests, all that stuff. I then went for 99 thieving. My cash stack from agility was getting low, and one of the big deals of this game mode is construction, and construction requires a lot of GP. And my goal for this account from the very beginning was always get construction up as fast as possible, any way possible. So I knocked out 99 thieving for the GP, and then also wanted the level to be able to pickpocket master farmers and never fail. Not one of my favorite skills at all. I find it incredibly boring. I don't like clicking. I don't like getting caught. Thieving, just really not my favorite skill. And unfortunately, it's almost at 20 mil XP, and it's a pretty big staple of the Ironman game mode. From there, I'm just bumming around, going for quest requirements, and I'll post some of the screenshots from some of the levels. One thing I wanted to highlight, though, was the herb method I used for lunar diplomacy, and I don't remember exactly whose video it was in. It was probably in a handful of the guys I mentioned earlier. But there's a method where in the middle of lunar diplomacy, you actually can make the dream potions with the Marintil and the Guams for a decent chunk of herb XP, but you can't do it once you complete the quest. So I started the quest with the intention of not finishing it, and probably had 1,000 Guams and Marintils that I farmed. So I don't know if you've ever farmed those herbs in the game. It seems kind of a waste of time. But I farmed about 1,000 of them, and it actually was enough to get me from 48 to 55 herb lore or something. And one of the hard things about this game mode is really just squeezing herb lore XP wherever you can. And the goal was Song of the Elves. So from there, I started working on the rune crafting goal, the 95 rune crafting goal, and this was another thing that was going to get me some more money. And I just hit Guardians of the Rift. I just did Guardians of the Rift from literally right after finishing the quest to level 77 for Bloods, and in that time I was able to get the needle, the full outfit, and check out the log over here. I think I got a die or two. Those are on the ground. But yeah, the needle, full outfit, couple dies, lantern, which I didn't end up keeping, unfortunately. And then I just went right over to Bloods. And I did a lot on the True Blood Altar, or not the True Blood Altar, sorry, the Zaya Blood Altar. A lot of the grinds I did on this account, I was simultaneously playing my main. So something like Blood Runes, it's really convenient for that. And if you're doing something on another account, you kind of just autopilot Blood Runes for a month or two. So after that, these are some long grinds, and it's kind of the theme of this account is just some pretty outrageous grinds that they're not being finished in 2 weeks most of the time, which is a lot of time to play a game. Some of the stuff takes months, 2 months, even longer. So at this point, I was pretty focused on Song of the Elves. Song of the Elves is a huge deal for Ultimate Ironman, as you can see, Prif. And one of the biggest things for me is you respawn right over here, and your home portal's over here, with all your stuff in your house portal. So this was a pretty big deal for me to get done as soon as I possibly could. I did stuff like ammonite crabs, sand crabs. I did a lot of medium clues, and I'll go over that in a different part of the video. I was prepping arrow shafts for broad arrows while I was training woodcutting. I actually grinded out full infinity and a master wand at Mage Training Arena to get some mage levels. Did some more construction training. And ended up beating Song of the Elves. It was pretty challenging, honestly, with one inventory. A lot of the Grandmaster quests were. It's pretty challenging. But I managed to get it done. And from there, I sent Gauntlet right away. I have a few hundred CG kill count on my main account, and my main account is actually super lucky. I think in like 400 or 500, I have, I want to say 4 enhanced weapon seeds. So I was kind of nervous going into it, but I went in a little bit lower combat stats than these, and I was doing 5-1, or I think it's 5-1. You attack the boss 5 times with magic, and then you hit it with a bow, or you kick it so that it doesn't change prayers to protect from magic. Because my combat stats are so low, it was beneficial for me to just use the staff because it has the highest DPS. So I just kind of do some CGs here and there, and then from there I grinded out 99 construction. That sucked. That was probably the worst grind I've done in RuneScape, and I probably have over 10,000 hours total in this game. It was Mahogany Homes from about 70 construction to 99, and I think at my best I was getting 80k XP an hour, and I'd say I'd probably average 60k across the whole thing. Not really much else to say on the subject. It is wicked important. It is super helpful. It is very nice having this maxed house. Pretty much all the amenities I can need. I can keep money in my servant's money bag. I got the cult altar, the full jewelry box, the tree, pool, and then Nexus costume room. And the costume room's super important for Ultimate Ironman because obviously you store a lot of items in there. But even stuff like the kitchen and the workbench and the workshop are super important. I get tools out of here all the time. You have to drop your tools, obviously, without a bank. So I get tools out of here all the time. And just having this makes the game mode so much easier. And not to mention, this construction cape is one of the best items in the game for Ultimate Ironman. I can teleport to any of the house portals. I can teleport to my house. And I don't have to be on the standard spellbook, which is a huge deal. So this is one of those grinds where it probably took me a year and a half. I would play for a month or two, and then I would just stop. It's really hard to do Mahogany Homes, at least in my opinion, for 80 hours over the course of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on how much I was playing. And then also, that would basically take you from 83 to 88 construction, right? And then you're not even halfway, especially the amount I played. You're not even halfway to 99, so it's pretty demotivating. Sometimes it was pretty chill, but it was not wasn't AFK enough where I wasn't really, able to put it in the back of my head and do something else. And it definitely wasn't engaging enough where I was like, whoa, I'm having a ton of fun playing this video game. So that was definitely the worst grind I've done on this account. Along the way, I was getting pretty burnt out, as I said, and I was bouncing around to some different things that were pretty low inventory intensity. I did 82 to 92 mining for Amethyst, right? Just at Shooting Stars. I did more Corrupted Gauntlet. I actually ended up doing 600 KC at the Gauntlet and getting my BOFA and green logging the Gauntlet. I actually got 2 pets, which I was not super stoked about. But I ended up getting my BOFA at around 600 KC. I had to go back and do a couple combat achievements later on. I knew I was going to go a little dry just based off the luck I had on my main, and I was pretty relieved to get it at a lower KC. 1.5 drop rate isn't really not that bad at this boss. I've seen people go way worse. I've known people to go, triple, quadruple. And while I enjoy the content, it's not really, you don't want to do more than 800 KC here. It's a lot. So I did that. I worked on smithing because I knew I was getting the quest cape as soon as I finished construction. So I needed the smithing level to make sure that I could get the Lumbridge Diary right away before they added another quest on me. So I got the diary requirement at Giant's Foundry. And then pretty much right after I got the BOFA, I was looking at the screenshot dates. I got 99 construction like a week later. At that point, I was pretty motivated. I was already at like 96 construction, and I just got the BOFA, and I was thinking, all right, it's finally time to start playing the game. It's finally time to start playing this account after all these levels. But of course, that's not exactly how it worked out. So after that big grind, I decided that I would grind out a Void Waker. Not my best choice. I did Ardio, and it took a long time. I did 983 Ardio, and I'm pretty sure for Ultimate Ironman I'm ranked 76. At the time, I think it almost got me to top page, but I have not been back to that boss, and I will not go back to that boss until then. From there, I went on to Spindle. Right now I have 332 KC at Spindle, and I just got PK'd for like 3 zombie axes, and I just couldn't do it anymore. You're death piling all your items in Prif every hour. It's a huge pain. And I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere, and I just decided to put it on pause and focus on 90 herb lore. Again, all these grinds are insane. Like, they're just picking out stupid grinds, and I'm burning myself out. So I went on to 90 herb lore. So I wanted 90 herb lore for super combats, and I wanted to be able to make overloads and chambers, even though you usually don't really have to. And I had a lot of seeds on me, a lot of herbs, and I wanted to clean up the inventory space. Big part of the game mode is making sure your inventory is clean, obviously, consolidating. So when you have all these prayer potions, and then you have Renar weeds, right, and then maybe you even have snapdragons too. You've been snapegrass, sorry. You've been collecting. That's like 4 inventory spaces for 1 potion. When you really want to get it down to 1 potion. So I decided, like, hey, I'm gonna pick up my items. This is something that doesn't require like a lot of attention. I would fish minnows for sharks, and when I was more active, like maybe watching a show or something, I would pickpocket master farmers. I pickpocketed a lot of master farmers. Thieving XP at master farmers to herb lore XP for an Ultimate Ironman is about 1-to-1. And it's not super enjoyable. I said I don't like thieving. See if my master farmer loot is even tracked here. Yeah. According to RuneLight, I did about 35,000 Master Farmers, and I was also doing farming contracts at the same time. Let's see how many contracts I ended up doing. I think it was a decent amount. How many farming contracts have I completed? 359. So, decent amount of contracts. Then it came time to just farm all the seeds, and that is what I recently finished up, was farming all these seeds, turning them into potions. The Herblore itself actually was pretty enjoyable. It felt like a pretty big payoff. I did do about 1,700 giant mole for these Cerebrews, which, I mean, if you know anything about the giant mole, it is what it is. It's not a boss you really want to sit there and kill 1,700 times. I don't think I kept any of the loot outside of maybe some death runes and blood runes. So for some progress goals in the future for this account, I really want a PVM. I've been waiting 3 years to do some serious PVM. I mean, I did all the Grandmaster quests. I've done a couple hundred Corrupted Gauntlet. I did, 1,000 RDO. Done some PVM. But I'm really looking to get into raids, getting some Bisque gear, getting my Slayer up, so I can do all the bosses and get access to all the gear. That's what I'm mainly looking forward to. I did not pick up any other drops at Mole, like the U-Logs, because I'm not too worried about maxing right now. I think that'll eventually come just by playing this account. It's just kind of like the nature of the game mode. With the exception of fire making, I think pretty much every skill will end up going up in the long run as I need more supplies and stuff like that. And once I'm within a few skills of maxing, then I'll definitely go for it. The cape is super good, and it's just cool to have. But I'm really focused on the gear right now. I just want to take some time to kind of inventory some of the items we have going on. We got Ranger Boots. We actually got a few pairs of Ranger Boots. We have done a lot of medium clues. Something catching Aplings, doing medium clues, kind of chill. UIM. I'm what rank am I? Rank 365 for medium clues. I've been hunting these spike manacles and I just can't get them. So I have a lot of the medium clue log completed, 94 out of 115, which does mean I have almost all the god books completed, which is really nice, with the exception of the Bandos book, but that's not really useful. So the Armadil and the Ancient book I've used a decent chunk, especially during questing. Still use the Ancient book for my offhand for mage, and the Armadil book is good occasionally if you're using a crossbow or something, and you need to just pull out something quick. So I have the Ranger Boots. I've made a Fury. This is like my 17th Zombie Axe. I have Full Crystal. The Bofa is stored in a stash unit. I have this Bandos Cloak. I'm hoping to get over to Bandos God Wars soon with the Bofa. But I do need to get a Bandos Plate Body for Hard Clues. So I've been just sitting on this as another item. The Square Shield, the Stole. These are just clue items that I need to clean up, and that's on the docket for things in the immediate future, is to get rid of these. I still have my Amulace from Rune Agility. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. Right now, I'm still sitting on it. That's just not going to be enough stamina potions for the rest of the account. But we'll see what my source for Aventos is. Cash Shack is a little low. I do have cash spread out across a few different stashes, but I would say I have less than 10 mil at the moment, which is pretty low for this account. It's usually been higher than that. But I do have 212,000 blood runes, which is the reason why I went for this blood rune goal, this agility goal in the first place, because I can make about 2 mil an hour raw cash if I need to sit down and make raw cash. But between all the grinds I did, like thieving and 600 gauntlet and the rune crafting, I really just haven't been strapped for cash. A lot of the money obviously went to 99 construction. The 30,000 unfinished potions I had to make was fairly expensive, and I'm not afraid to buy runes. So that's where the money goes. But again, it's a resource, and I have not really run out of it. Here's the Void Waker hilt that is cursing me. I will probably go back and get the other two, and this video will probably not come out until I do that, just in case. Master one, when I did full infinity, I also got the master one. This remains to be seen how useful it is. It was probably pretty helpful for some of the quests I did, considering the rest of my gear is not great. Stack of dragon stones. Just got them from Wildy bosses, and just held on to them because it can be useful. It's kind of challenging to get a dragon stone, so if you need like a glory or something for a Wildy boss, it was a pretty nice way to just get one quick. Here's my potions. I still need to make the super combats that I got the level for, but of course from the giant mole I got about 500 more herb seeds that are in my seed box, and I want to farm the rest of the torstals because this is not going to be. I want more super combats in this, but these are all the potions. My crystal shard stack, my shark stack from all my minnows. I've used a few of them. Runes and a master clue. Stuff like Barrow's gloves, Dragon Defender, even Ranger boots will go in the player on house. My inventory is not that packed right now since I cleaned it up from Herblore, so I haven't really been worrying about it. But I have giant seaweed and sand. I'm currently working on crafting. I want to get to 93 crafting so I can make all the Zenites. And this is just something that, like, when I'm in one of these slogs of a grind, I'll be like, oh, I'll just farm giant seaweed on the side. And like, oh, all of a sudden I have 3,000 giant seaweed. Like, how much giant seaweed do I need? And like, then you just like, oh, now I just gotta go mine 36,000 sand real quick. Like, it's kind of, as you're playing a game, just moving on, jumping around different things. But the goal is to get 93. I think the calculator I used messed up though, and I don't know if this is going to be enough. So we will see how that goes. Let's go back to the house just to go through some armor sets, see what I missed. Some capes. Haven't figured out how to hide the bank pin yet, so just skipped over it. Fire cape. I got the fire cape. Very low combat. It took me 2 hours, a little over 2 hours. I think I did a magic short bow imbued. It's not super impressive these days, but it was wicked annoying. I got the Mage Arena 2 cape, which is huge. Really, any wildy grind on the UIM is a big pain. It's really annoying. There's my quest point cape that is going to be in there forever. My thieving cape. And here's my magic wardrobe. I have my carpenter outfit, the robes from Well Got to Sleep, my graceful, which I think I might recolor it soon. I haven't really decided. But while I farm these herbs, I might recolor it. My infinity set, I really like this robe set. It was a pain in the ass to grind. I did it before all the nerfs, classic RuneScape. The best time to do content is 5 years from now. But I did these before the nerf. It was wicked annoying. The Master Wand, and the Bones of Peaches, it took a long time, but I got a ton of magic XP. And these robes with the buff, buffed again, like everything just gets better and easier. But anyway, I really like how these look, and it's very convenient having in the house. I have a set of Mystic in here, Lunar. My Raiments of the Eye, got the Smith's uniform because I was doing the Giant's Foundry, because you don't need to collect any ores or anything from Blast Furnace. You just buy armor and Prift and teleport over there. So, while I don't love Giant's Foundry, it wasn't that bad of a grind. And these Smith gloves are really good because they're ice gloves, so I have storable ice gloves. That was one of the big reasons for it. In the armor case, we have Anglers, Elite Black, which is pretty cool. It's like the same thing as Proselyte. The mining gloves, Fighter Torso. Funny thing about that, I actually paid like 90 mil for this. So it would be a Assault Clan. Just generally don't love group content, and I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it, so I paid for it. It was a ton of money, but they did it extremely quickly. It was pretty fun. And then Prospector Kit, Rogue Armor, Jaysian Armor, Proselyte, I have all the Void. I need to go back for Elite Void. But I need to do the diary first. And then in the treasure chest, it's really, we already saw the medium clue log, so that's pretty much a big deal. The holy sandals in there. Ranger boots, I'm still missing these manacles. I really want these. They're basically dragon boots until you get the Slayer level for them, which is 83. All the blessings, I don't think there's anything crazy in here. Something if you didn't know about Ultimate Iron Man is you cannot withdraw a set. Oh, I don't have the inventory space, but you can't withdraw a set until it's completed, which is the reason why I'm holding onto this Bandos cloak, because I can't get it back. I also have some ancient D'hide boots, which are good. Nothing notable in the hard clues. Nothing in Elite or Masters, I don't think. Yeah. That is pretty much all the items I have on the account. I have my pets over here, and it's really just the Gauntlet pet, my cat, and my pet rock. So this video is already much longer than I originally expected, but I just want to, before we step into episode 1, just go over what the plans are for this account in the future and what the videos will be about. So I'll finish up crafting here. Probably right now it is July 16th, and I'll be done in a few days crafting as long as I stick to it. And then from there, I'm probably going to farm out those stupid seeds that I got from the mole's nest. I really don't want to. I just came off this huge grind, but again, macro efficiency is how I'm thinking in this game, and it's like really hard for me to throw away. It's a couple hundred, it's probably around 1,000 dwarf weeds. If you look at my stash, I only have about 1,000 total potions of ranging potions, so I really want those ranging potions. I really want the extra torstals. I could probably use some more Cadentines. I don't know, Lantodine. It's like I said, it's very hard for me to throw away that XP. So the plan for that, I think, is to make some amethyst darts for the blowpipe that I'll have soon enough, hopefully, and farm it out while I play on my main or something. After that, I get the secondaries and I make all the potions again, it's about 700,000 herblore XP. It's kind of hard to pass up, even though I'm not too worried about maxing. Herblore XP is very tough to come by. After that, I'm probably gonna take another crack at the Void Waker. I feel like I'm about halfway in the drop rate for Spindle, and I already got the piece from Artio, so I feel like I'm about halfway, and in my opinion, Calvarion's the easiest. So I just paid for membership on my main again, so I can have an alt outside to scout and make it a little safer. So I think that's the plan. I will hopefully go back there, maybe wrap up Spindle under drop rate, and then maybe go under drop rate for Calvarion would be the dream. And after that, it is time to get maybe an assembler, an Ava's assembler from Vorkath, because I do need a Wrath Talisman. I do need to make some Wrath runes so that I can start Slayer. And that's that. That's good. It's going to be Slayer and PVM, raids with some friends, and just starting to finally do some combat, get up the combat stats, and just really hit the ground running. I'm pretty excited, and I hope you guys are interested in episode 1 coming up.